traders from around the world, what's going on? It's your boy Jeremy Alexander Newsome with reallifetrading.com. Trust you're doing splendid. Hope you're doing splendid. Hope you're still alive out there. Oh man, whoa. Dang, what a day on the SPY and just the broader markets in general. Intense for sure. So realistically, the last few moments of the day getting some really big sell-off with some pretty good volume. And what is probably one of the biggest takeaways is yesterday, obviously a lot of people were excited. A lot of people were expecting that candle. At least I think I was. I think a lot of people were expecting that candle yesterday because I've been mentioning and discussing this type of pattern, right? This W would come in and we would go higher. And realistically, yesterday did set up some bullish trades. Some of those triggered, and we'll look at those in a moment. But I did mention that I don't think it's going to happen, but if we do close below 268.58, it's almost unquestionable that we go lower. And we did close below that price today. We might get a high wave candle. We could retest tomorrow, but at this point with a breakdown, it is, I think, a matter of time before we get to 256. Really a large candle, strong gap, huge volume, huge volatility, big close, and yeah, we're just gonna have to see what takes place. Now, realistically, I would be semi-surprised if something like this doesn't happen. So this was the most recent ginormous bullish candle that came in, and then we closed below it, and then the next day kind of gapped up. Right, so it gapped up, then it had a big up shadow, big low shadow, and then we end up bouncing. Could that take place tomorrow? Sure. Obviously, anything is possible in the market, but with this particular close on these levels, kind of like I mentioned on my Twitter and on StockTwits, and for anyone who trades in Slack, I was mentioning that, I kind of scroll up here. Pop over here, 2:26 p.m., grabbing a lot of short-term puts on a lot right now, even if it's likely for an overnight gap. Netflix, Nvidia, SPY, BABA looks like we'll end down for the day. Pretty much that was about right before the large sell-off started happening. So right about here, when we broke down, got the retest, and then got the breakdown. We just had a lot of weakness going into the close of the market. If you're looking at the SPY, here's the last 5 minutes, and what you'll notice is really right here, this is the candle at 1400 my time, which is 3 o'clock Eastern. We closed below that daily support, that 268.58, retested, continued, retested, continued. Very interesting. The volatility in the market, a lot of people are enjoying it. Day traders are having a blast. Traders are signing up to the trading room, put out a few fires. We'll see what's going to happen and what's going to occur over time, but there's definitely some weakness out there today. Here's Nvidia, and Nvidia is likely going to continue a little bit lower as well. This one was one that I really wanted a swing trade on as it broke the low of this candle. You can see on blue, I actually did think that Nvidia was going to trade down here and bounce. Obviously it didn't. So Nvidia, you know, had a gap down yesterday. You got that super small spinning top candle. With Nvidia, I mean, there was just, that was it. That was the bounce where it needed to bounce. It was really just 2 days ago, and it was below the 50 EMA on the weekly, which we haven't closed below there in a multitude of time. Here's your long-term moving average. So the 100's at 188.61. I don't think we're just going to absolutely plow through that. In fact, there are a few traders who did the 170 put sale. That's still 20 points away. And again, Nvidia could obviously get down to 170 between now and December 21st. And if it does, you're right, you might have the opportunity to put some shares at 170. That's still pretty far away, seeing that it was at 292, about 100 points more expensive just days ago. So anyway, I'm expecting Nvidia to probably gap down, most likely tomorrow, and then probably continue or at least kind of retest a little bit. Here's AMD, and AMD, let's see over here, is posting earnings, and it's down large and in charge on earnings. So chip stocks just getting absolutely wrecked right now. Going to add a little bit more negativity to the market. You know, it is obviously AMD up at $34 a share. Not too long ago is gapping down to about $18.50 right now. which says to me that we'll probably flash lower into about 16, maybe 17, and then probably look for a bounce. I mean, a lot of the gap downs tomorrow, I'll be keeping an eye out for a short-term fade. We'll just have to see what happens because, of course, AMD, huge bullish trend, and a gap down of this magnitude is a pretty large retracement and a retest. So at this particular juncture and particular level, anyone on AMD, right, down 17%, that's a really, really large gap. Here's Micron Technology. So Micron had to get into some more puts on MU, $37 protective puts for November. A lot of traders bought some protective puts on Facebook today as it also closed below a behemothly strong support. I mean, truly, the fact that it took out this bullish candle, the low of this particular candle, closed below there before earnings. Here's the weekly chart, right? You had that bullish inside week. Again, we might gap up, we might retest a little bit, but it looks to me like Facebook's going to go down to about 133. So if you have some puts, be thankful for that. And if you don't have some puts, keep an eye on it. Again, I know earnings is just days away, but at this particular juncture, I don't know what's really going to help the Qs go higher. A lot of people watching Amazon, and Amazon traded right down to the 200 simple moving average today. This one was one that we've been talking about in the afternoon swing trading room. This is a double top. I mean, it's a confirmed, if you want to use the term confirmed, that's a confirmed double top. Closing below the neckline, retested, pulling back a little bit lower. So we'll see, obviously, what Amazon does on earnings, but some large pullbacks out there into some levels. Apple, though, for the most part, still holding up okay. Obviously, we can see what looks like a head and shoulders pattern here on Apple, and it'll be a little bit chintzy to see how that plays out. Obviously, you could have some covered calls or some collars or some protection of some kind, but right now, Apple up a little bit post-market, and we'll just see how long that holds. But realistically, it'll probably slowly creep down into about the 100 simple, but this small head and shoulders pattern on a daily chart just says to me that likely we could see a little bit of lower lows. So here's some bullish swing trades that I did get triggered into. SOHU, don't know if this trade will work or not, but obviously earnings is not too far in the distant future. Had a one white soldier candle on the 22nd, got triggered in on the 23rd, and had a little bit of a pullback today. Here's PayPal, PYPL, and this one is one that really looked a little bit different than the broader markets. So I was hoping it would pull back just slightly smaller. It did pull back massively strong, and at this particular point in time, probably is going to gap down or wick us out with the weekly options newsletter trade that we set up tomorrow, maybe most likely tomorrow. If it does do that, and it posts a doji or something, some type of high wave candle, I'll look to get back in on PayPal if it breaks higher, because realistically it had some pretty strong candles over the last 2 to 3 days. But that's PayPal. Here's Tesla, TSLA, and Tesla right now is actually gapping up. It appears that they've posted a profit, and that is a really big signal on Tesla. So there are some traders with some put sales and option sales on Tesla, but it's gapping up. If Tesla can open above 317.5, it should run. This still to me looks like a pretty bullish gap on Tesla, and I do expect it to continue a little bit higher into the pre-market trading session. Tons of people are going to be short on Tesla. Again, a decent gap. That's a big deal that it's going to post a profit, and that's really going to be a large event for the shareholders of Tesla. Is the world ending? Is the market crashing? Is everything that we know going to go to zero? Most likely not. The beautiful thing about the markets, folks, is every day you get a new candle, you get new sets of data, you get new information that allow you to trade what it is that you see in front of you. Your main goal as traders, focus on risk protection, focus on capital preservation. If you're wrong, you don't know what you're doing, you're scared, you're upset, be in cash. Cash is obviously a position. If your goal is to make money constantly every single month, Day trading is a great way to do that. Today was a sensational day to day trade. And tomorrow and the next few days, the next few weeks, we will still be in earnings season. So if you aren't familiar with how to day trade, you want to properly learn how to do it. I mean, even if you have a large portfolio and you're in bigger positions, longer term positions, you can obviously hedge those positions by day trading, especially if the market continues lower or if the market gaps up or the market gaps down. You have these wild swings overnight. If you think about it, you're in cash every single night when you day trade. So the next day, all the gaps are fresh, all the sentiment's fresh. You don't really care what actually ends up happening. You're okay with pretty much all of it. I think that's a really good position to be in. And, over the next few days, we'll just have to see what happens. This is a very interesting gap on the SPY. And like I said, we'll probably see some type of candle like February 9th. I don't know if that'll be the exact bottom tomorrow. Not really saying that's going to be the exact bottom. But as far as a weekly chart's concerned, the 100 simple on a weekly is 257.28. And the last time we bounced around off of that was a pretty decent time period back here in August, which again, I could see us trading down to that price level and maybe even a little bit lower. But if we get back down there, that'd be a good dip buying opportunity. October, usually one of the weakest months of the year of the stock market as far as just seasonality, is concerned. And yeah, don't think this is the top of the market. Don't think this is it. Don't think everything's going to go to zero, hell in a handbasket. But if we do get a pattern like this, we trade down to here, we do bounce off of it, and we start doing something like this and taking out some supports and retesting. Even if we do all that, it's still going to take months and months for an actual large size correction. So if there's any time to learn about how to hedge, if there's any time to learn about day trading, if there's any time to understand more about market sentiments, gaps, candlesticks, all that good stuff, it'd probably be right about now. So anyway, that's my thoughts on the SPY. Really interesting close. Gonna hop over in the next 20 minutes and talk to my traders in the afternoon swing trading room for Energy Wednesday. Look at some energy stocks, look at some utilities, look at some other positions that were a little bit stronger today. Really interesting moves out there, especially with Boeing, right? Boeing gapping up, actually ending up on the day. Verizon had a really strong move and actually ended up on the day as well. Big, large upper shadow. Just a strange, wild, fun turn of events. Let's keep it up. Let's trade nimble and focus on your risk protection, capital preservation, and focus on the process rather than the outcome. We will grow together. Let's continue enriching lives. Keep me posted if you have any questions. And let me make sure I got all the stocks that were requested today. I think I did. Nope, let me actually go back, and review some that were requested before I wrap up. So Amazon, I mean, specifically on earnings, is at the 200 simple moving average. I do think Amazon probably gaps down to fade higher on earnings. It's just been weak, right? Had that $1 trillion discussion. Everyone was talking about it, just like Apple circa 2016, 2015, when people were talking about it hitting $1 trillion for the first time before it split. It didn't, and then it had that big sell-off. Amazon, same thing could happen, but that pullback to the 200 is a really, really big ordeal. Hasn't happened in a long time on Amazon, long time. We're talking 2016. So that's a big event. So if we gap down on Amazon, which realistically could happen, then you're going to start seeing a lot more chop out there in the market. And obviously if we gap up on Amazon, we will trap a lot of bears and run nicely higher. Talking about Boeing, BA, so Boeing did kind of bounce off of the 200, had a decent gap up today. A lot of opportunities to play Boeing on a 3-minute chart, almost an uncountable amount. Here is the chart on Boeing, and if you're aggressively playing the 1 minute, had some good setups through here, right? It was a retest gap, so you're expecting it to pull back some. Here's the pullback. This is the double bottom off of the 100 simple moving average on a daily chart. So that was a good bounce. But at this point, Boeing, definitely some strength. And if it takes out the low of today, most specifically, if we close below that low, you will see a little bit of lower moves on Boeing. And if you get a bullish momentum, some bullish movement tomorrow, we could slowly creep higher. I'm looking at just the long terms. I do see the morning star. The fact that we made a new all-time high right here says to me, very similar to the market, that this is actually showing a little bit of strength because it hasn't gone down quite as far as a few other stocks have. So yeah, if we close below 351.31, that would kind of be the warning signal on Boeing. And of course, if we take out this low on October 23rd, you could see a nice drop on Boeing. Here's ticker symbol WB, and WB is Weibo. Let me see if TradingView wants to load that. Down 6.5% today. So this is the daily chart on Weibo, and right now just in a bearish trend, looking like it's going to continue. So I don't see any real stopping point other than the 200 simple on a weekly chart for ticker symbol WB. If you're looking at playing that, that would be a spot where you would tiptoe in. Again, when's the whole ordeal and tariffs going to end with China? When's that going to calm down, slow down, and give traders a little bit of a break, a little bit of a chance for resting? I don't know. If it's going to happen, this is probably where, but pick up a small position, pinky toe in the water, so to speak. Let it chop around and see how we bounce off that particular level. I wouldn't short it right here because again, looks to me like you're about to get to the spot where we bounced once before, and that's the 200 simple moving average on the weekly. So if we just go down a little bit lower, actually could be a good spot to watch for a bullish day trade as well. BABA was one of the stocks I mentioned in Slack and on my Twitter message and on StockTwits. BABA broke a really good support level that I was talking about in the morning room. That is the, of course, bullish candle that came in yesterday. This is some type of weird evening star pattern. Took out all of these lows. So breaking below that price on BABA really wasn't that strong. So it looks to me like BABA probably will continue a little bit lower as the trend is at this point still bearish along with its counterpart JD.com. Now this one's a good one because we did get a chance to get into some protective puts on JD.com on this day right here, which is the 22nd of October, because that one also still looks like it's going to go into the low 20s. So that's really interesting. And last but not least, as far as stocks that requested, here's KBE. I believe I typed that in right. KBE. Let me press enter. What stock is KBE? TradingView is running a little slow today. KBE down 4%. What's the daily chart? SP Bank ETF. Yeah, this one has been getting just demolished over the last few weeks. Here's the weekly chart on KBE, and the big warning signal was this high wave candle right here at all of this support, right? Tons of support at 46.80, high wave candle. Once you close below that high wave, I mean, you knew it wasn't going to be massively bullish. So the long-term moving averages, you're going to be below the 100 coming into the 200. So as far as buying the dip, buying the salsa, finding spots to buy low, sell high, it all comes down to your time frame, right, ladies and gentlemen? How long do you want to be in certain positions? What's your goal? What's your intentions? If you want to buy some KWEB, which is the Financial Spiders ETF, the 200 simple is at 39.57 on a weekly chart. That will be a decent spot to pick up a little bit of a position. But notice last time it came into the 200, we did break below it a little bit, only to chop around and kind of bounce around some. So if you get in there, just get in small, because it looks like this retest gap that came in November is probably going to get filled. So look around this area to start going long on KBE. But if you are going long, it is long term or very, very short term. That's realistically kind of the play right now for a lot of swing traders, is with the market the way it is. If you are taking a position bullish, you're either doing it for the long haul, like years out there, or you're doing it very short term, like a day trade or a massively quick swing trade. That's how my goal was with PayPal that we showed you in SOHU. Also, we did get triggered into CSX bearish. So this one is one that we are in on the bear on a bear trade. So we'll see if CSX continues a little bit lower, but at least that was one bearish position that was up. And Macy's, believe it or not, ticker symbol M. This is one that we got triggered into bearish, and It was up on the day a little bit at one point most of the day and ended up a smidge bearish. So we'll be able to lower our stop on Macy's to hopefully lose small and see if that trend continues lower into earnings. And if the market continues lower, Macy's might also as well. We will see. But as far as other trades are concerned, here is the swing trade journal. And that's really it. Not a lot of positions out there. I should need to actually cancel this one. But yep, so Macy's bearish, CSX bearish, SOHU and PayPal both bullish. And they, again, might not work. We will see if it does. Probably not. Most likely going to get stopped out. But the good news is, as long as you can lose less money than you win, you'll be profitable. The day trades right now for the month of October looking really good for the real life traders out there in the trading room. Excited about that. Excited about continuing on. We only have a few more days left in October. Let's end strong, traders. And if you have any questions, reach out to me. Happy to help in any way I can. And until then, love life, and trade it. Bye.